Hello my best friends. My name is Layla and this is Layla Flicks. Our movie today begins with a small cat with colorful eyes named Packet, who starts telling us about himself back when he was even younger. He says that his owners sold the house and left him alone on the street. Since then, he's been wandering around, looking for anyone to take care of him. Then, we cut to a girl named Rose, driving her car like a maniac while talking on the phone with her boss, Craven. From their conversation, we learn that she's a scientist working on developing a serum to strengthen bees' immunity. Craven reminds her that she must finish the serum before the end of summer so she can present it at the upcoming science conference, which will be attended by many important people. Rose is shocked, the deadline is way too soon, but Craven doesn't care and ends the call abruptly. Still distracted by the call, Rose almost hits Packet as he crosses the road. She slams the brakes just in time. Meanwhile, Packet bumps into the car and pretends to be injured. Feeling guilty, Rose takes pity on him and rushes him to an animal care center. The lady there greets her warmly and tries to reassure her about the cat's condition. Packet, still faking, acts as if he's dead, until suddenly a bird lands on him, annoying him so much that he's forced to breathe again. When he moves, both Rose and the caretaker cheer in relief. The woman jokes that cats have 9 lives. Rose laughs it off and gets ready to leave, but before she goes, the caretaker suggests that she adopt Packet, saying he seems like a lonely cat. At first, Rose refuses, she's far too busy working on her serum. But when she realizes how much Packet needs her, she changes her mind and takes him home. In the car, she can't help but admire his bright, multicolored eyes. On the way, Packet keeps teasing her about her wild driving. After a while, they reach Rose's house, isolated in the middle of trees and plants. Packet is shocked to see how messy everything is, with things scattered all over the place. Still, he's secretly happy to learn that there are no other pets around. Rose, for her part, seems genuinely glad to have him. She's still getting used to him, though, at one point, she accidentally puts him in the washing machine, then bursts out laughing when she realizes what she's done, repeating his name over and over. Days pass. Rose continues working on the serum but now spends time caring for Packet, showering him with affection and buying him toys and gifts to make him happy. She even builds him a play tree. Packet, enjoying every moment, feels that life has finally turned in his favor. One day, while playing outside, Packet tries to mess with some bees, and gets stung. Rose quickly comforts him, gently removes the stinger, and explains that bees die once they use it. She hugs him, telling him she'll always love and care for him. Soothed by her words, Packet curls up and sleeps peacefully, full of warmth and contentment. Time goes by, and Packet grows fatter and lazier. One morning, he wakes up startled by a strange car pulling up to the house. A peculiar man steps out. The moment Rose sees him, she panics and hides, whispering to Packet that this is her colleague Larry, an eccentric but brilliant bee expert. Packet mocks Larry's odd looks and colorful hair. Rose opens the door and scolds Larry for disappearing and leaving her to work alone. Larry apologizes and asks about her progress on the serum. Packet, clearly jealous, attacks Larry fiercely, forcing him to reveal he's allergic to cats. At that moment, Rose gets an idea for improving her serum. Larry catches on and offers to help. They begin working together in perfect sync, while Packet fumes with jealousy, convinced Larry will eventually steal Rose's affection. Determined to get rid of him, Packet decides to exploit Larry's cat allergy. Meanwhile, Rose tells Larry she plans to use his allergic reaction as part of the serum's development process. Larry helps her write the chemical formula they need. Later that night, Larry orders pizza. Packet sneaks over and rubs himself all over it, hoping to trigger Larry's allergy. As soon as Larry takes a bite, he starts showing symptoms. Rose is horrified and feels sorry for him, which makes her take Packet outside. She tells Larry she'll let the cat back in later and returns to work. Outside, Packet sulks, angry and heartbroken. When he tries to squeeze through the cat flap, he realizes he's too fat to fit anymore. The next day, Rose tells Larry they need to meet Craven to present their idea. Meanwhile, Packet wakes up to find himself dumped among the garbage. Furious, he comes up with a wicked plan to sabotage Larry's car so he can't go with Rose. He snickers evilly, hits a nearby rat for fun, sneaks to the car, grabs a wrench, and loosens all the wheel bolts. But to his shock, Rose and Larry take her car instead, and the wheels suddenly come off mid-drive. In the chaos, Packet somehow ends up trapped in an elevator that carries him to a mysterious place. There, he takes a number and waits for his turn. Back to Rose, she and Larry meet Craven and present their idea. Craven greets them both, pretending to be pleased. He reminds Rose that many influential people expect her to unveil the serum at the conference and feigns excitement when she mentions the allergy-based approach. He insists that all he cares about is protecting the bees. After the meeting, Rose and Larry drive off together, happy and confident. But once they're gone, Craven drops the act. Furious, he orders his henchmen to go to Rose's house and destroy the serum she's been working on. Meanwhile, Packet, still waiting in that strange place, gets bored. He tricks the cat ahead of him to steal his turn and finally meets the woman in charge, Grace. She informs him that he's dead and has used up all 9 of his lives. Shocked, Packet insists he's only on his 4th. Grace reminds him of every time he's died before. Devastated, Packet confesses he doesn't want to die, 9 lives aren't enough. He pleads, saying he loves his owner Rose, that she loves him too, and that she's his family now. He just wants to go back and repay her kindness. Moved by his words, Grace grants him 9 new chances, but warns that these lives will be very different from before. Overjoyed, Packet doesn't pay attention to her warning. He takes the first chance and immediately falls through a trapdoor into darkness. Back on Earth, Rose searches desperately for Packet, heartbroken that he hasn't returned. She decides to leave the door open in case he comes back. Not far from the house, Packet falls from the sky, thrilled to have another chance. He rushes home and curls up beside Rose in bed. The next morning, Rose wakes to Larry shouting that someone destroyed their beehives. She screams when she finds a badger sleeping next to her. When Packet looks in the mirror, he realizes he is the badger. Terrified, he runs as Rose chases him, and he crashes straight into Larry. Furious, he attacks, but Larry dodges and sends him flying into electrical wires. Moments later, a frazzled and smoking Packet reappears before Grace, demanding an explanation. Grace calmly tells him that each of his new lives will be as a different animal, and that what truly matters is his heart, not his appearance. Then she gives him his second chance, and he falls again. Meanwhile, Craven rages because his men destroyed the beehive instead of the serum. He confesses he actually hates bees ever since one stung him as a child, yet he admits they're essential for pollinating crops and preventing famine. He plans to exploit their fragile immunity to build his empire and become the richest man in the world. Furious, he orders his men to return to Rose's house and obliterate every trace of her work. We return once again to Packet, who looks frustrated and upset. He's been turned into a mouse. He sighs and mutters that, looking like this, there's no way Rose would ever recognize him. He climbs up a broomstick, reaches the window, and spots Rose and Larry. To his surprise, they're making posters with his picture on them, hoping someone might find him. Larry keeps comforting Rose, assuring her that Packet will come back to her soon. But despite Larry's kind words, Packet grows angry at the sight of him. Jealousy burns in his chest, and he swears he'll take revenge on Larry somehow. When he tries sneaking into the house through the cat flap, he miscalculates, bumps his head, and tumbles outside. Frustrated, he gets another idea, to sneak in through the chimney. Determined, he climbs up to the roof and prepares to jump in. Just as he's about to slide down, a hawk swoops from the sky, grabs him, and flies off. A while later, Packet finds himself back with Grace, fuming with anger. Grace laughs at his miserable state, teasing him mercilessly. She gives him his third attempt, and as soon as he wakes up, Packet is horrified to discover he's been turned into a cockroach. Though disgusted, his anger keeps him going. He decides to use this chance to get even with Larry, blaming him for everything that's happened. Meanwhile, Larry is still trying to comfort Rose, reminding her they've spread the missing posters everywhere and reassuring her that someone will surely find Packet and bring him home. Just as Rose's phone rings and she goes to answer it, Packet seizes the moment. He crawls under Larry's clothes and starts biting him viciously. Larry yells and flails around, accidentally hitting himself as he tries to get rid of the cockroach. Rose, still distracted on the phone with Craven, who's pretending to be sympathetic about her missing cat, doesn't notice a thing. Craven expresses fake sadness and pretends to console her, secretly thrilled when he learns that most of the bees have escaped from her. Back with Larry, he keeps slapping himself and finally rips off most of his clothes, trying to get rid of Packet. The cockroach falls to the ground, darts away among the posters, and escapes. Larry, embarrassed and exhausted, returns to comfort Rose, who's crying again because she misses Packet so much. Larry gently tells her she has to move on, that letting go will help her continue the research on the serum she's been developing. Rose takes a deep breath, nods, and agrees. She says she needs to remove everything that reminds her of Packet. She gathers all his toys and asks Larry to tear down the posters. When Larry starts ripping them, Packet gets caught in the paper, nearly torn apart. Later, Packet appears before Grace again, covered in scraps of paper. She laughs at him until he begs her to give him another chance, a fourth attempt, this time asking to be turned into a harmless pet. Grace grants his wish, and Packet turns into a colorful parrot. Soon after, we see him in a pet care center, perched in a cage. Rose enters, looking sad, and hands over all of Packet's toys to the caretaker. The parrot, Packet, flaps his wings excitedly, trying to get her attention. She notices him, touched by his bright, familiar eyes, just like her Packet's. The caretaker smiles and tells Rose she can adopt the parrot if she likes. He might help ease her sadness over losing her cat. But Rose politely refuses, she's too busy working on her serum. Just then, Larry arrives and gives the caretaker a small tree, the one Packet used to play on. Hearing Larry talk about him, saying he wishes they'd spent more time together, moves Packet deeply. He realizes Larry truly cared about him, and guilt hits him hard for being so hostile before. When Rose tells the parrot she can't take him home, wishing him a happy life with someone who will love and care for him, Packet's heart breaks. He watches tearfully as Rose and Larry leave, looking out the window as they disappear. The little bird nearby starts playing with Packet's toy tree, accidentally knocking it over onto him. Once again, Packet is returned to Grace for his fifth attempt. This time, she turns him into a dog. Outside, Packet meets another dog who mentions that dogs can track scents. Instantly inspired, Packet decides to follow Rose's scent to find her. He runs for miles until he finally spots Craven's henchmen watching Rose and Larry from a distance. The two scientists have just succeeded in creating the serum, testing it on bees. They place the serum inside a hive, and when the bees inhale it, they briefly collapse, but then rise again, healthier and stronger. Rose realizes it worked. Overjoyed, she says they must inform Craven right away. Meanwhile, Craven's henchmen, realizing the serum's success would ruin their boss's plan, decide to destroy it before Rose can present it. They fetch a bat from their car, but Packet appears, barking furiously. The startled men climb onto the car roof to escape him. In panic, they toss the bat to distract him and speed away, but Packet chases them down, leaping into the car. Inside, he attacks them with all his might, biting both men until they lose control of the vehicle. The car skids toward a cliff's edge. The henchmen barely manage to escape in time, but Packet is thrown off and plunges into the river below. Moments later, he returns once again to Grace for his sixth attempt, and this time, she turns him into a fish. When Packet wakes up, he finds himself swimming inside a strange aquarium. Looking around, he realizes with horror that he's inside Craven's office. He listens as Craven pretends to be pleased with Rose's progress, suggesting she and Larry conduct a live experiment at the upcoming scientific conference to prove their serum works. Rose hesitates, moving the bees could endanger the hive and risk failure. But Craven insists, forcing her and Larry out of the office. Once they're gone, Packet watches as Craven opens a secret door to meet his henchmen, furious at their repeated failures. Listening closely, Packet realizes Craven is evil. He wants Rose's experiment to fail so he can unveil his own invention instead. Craven enters a hidden lab connected to the aquarium. He explains his sinister plan. He will ensure Rose's serum fails publicly, discrediting her and convincing all scientists to abandon bee preservation. Then he'll reveal his invention, robotic bees that can replace real ones, bringing him millions in profit. He puts on a strange glove that controls the mechanical bees, demonstrating how they can collect pollen on command. Packet, horrified, realizes Craven plans to sabotage Rose's experiment at the conference. Furious, he swims at full speed, leaps from the aquarium, but accidentally falls into Craven's cup. When Craven takes a sip, he swallows Packet and starts choking. The drink spills over the glove, shorting its circuits, and the robotic bees go wild. One henchman rushes to shut down the system while the other helps Craven cough Packet out. Packet flies out the window, only to be snatched again by a hawk. This time, however, when he returns to Grace, he's smiling proudly. For the first time, he feels he's done something truly good. Grace congratulates him for his courage and asks how it felt to help someone else. Packet replies that it made him feel like a great cat again, not selfish like before. Grace beams, granting him his seventh attempt, turning him into a horse. We next see Packet watching Rose and Larry through the window. They're preparing more serum samples. When they spot him, they step outside. Rose approaches, hugs him, and thanks him for always being there. Together, she and Larry decide to look for the horse's owner. The three of them walk toward the edge of a hill, gazing at the sunset. Rose takes Larry's hand, and they confess their love for each other. Packet smiles warmly, happy to see them together. He vows to stay nearby in the forest, living peacefully with them. But suddenly, a car pulls up. Craven steps out and enters the house. Alarmed, Packet gallops at full speed to stop him. Inside, Craven grins when he finds the house empty. He mixes his toxin with Rose's serum, planning to kill the bees instead of strengthening them. Just as he's about to pour it, Packet bursts through the door, startling him. Craven drops the poison, panicking as Packet attacks, knocking over the samples. Most of Rose's work spills and shatters. Before Craven can grab the last vial, Packet hurls him into the trash chute. Hearing the commotion, Rose and Larry rush back. But Craven manages to escape in his car before they see him. When they enter, they're devastated to find all the serum samples destroyed. Rose, heartbroken, assumes Packet caused the damage. Furious, she orders him out and tells him never to return. Larry comforts her, promising they can make more serum, but Rose has lost all hope. Then, unexpectedly, Larry reveals he saved one last vial. Meanwhile, Packet wanders away in sorrow, feeling completely rejected. He returns to Grace, who tries to cheer him up, reminding him he still has 2 chances left. But Packet shakes his head. He's lost all will to continue. He doesn't want to cause Rose any more pain. Grace approaches gently, telling him Rose needs him now more than ever, and gives him his 8th attempt. At the conference, Rose and Larry present their experiment. Craven greets them warmly in front of everyone, pretending to support them. But once they leave the preparation room, he secretly orders his men to swap Rose's serum with his poison. On stage, Rose explains the serum's benefits, her voice trembling with nervousness. Larry sets up the hive box for the demonstration, connecting it to the system. When Rose presses the button to release the serum, actually the poison, the bees faint instantly. The audience gasps in shock. Meanwhile, Packet, now transformed into a bee, finds himself inside the hive. He witnesses Craven's men switching the samples and tries to warn Larry, but Larry can't hear him. Packet escapes through a vent, buzzes in front of Larry's face to alert him, just in time. Larry spots Craven's henchmen and rushes to stop them, but they grab him. Rose, unaware, proudly presses the button, releasing the poison. The bees collapse again, and chaos erupts. Packet sacrifices himself. He stings the man holding Larry, freeing him, but the other henchman swats him away. Packet vanishes from sight. Craven walks on stage, pretending to take control. He claims Rose's serum has proven that bees are unreliable and that his mechanical bees will save the world. He activates them with his glove, impressing everyone as they swarm around the stage, drawn to Rose's pollen-covered clothes. Realizing he used her all along, Rose's heart breaks. At that moment, Packet returns to Grace once more. He pleads for his 9th and final attempt, begging to become something powerful, maybe a bear or a dinosaur, anything to protect Rose. Grace smiles knowingly, granting his last transformation. Smoke fills the conference hall. From within it emerges Packet, back in his true cat form, fierce and glowing. He pounces on the men attacking Larry, scratching them until they flee. The curtain falls, shocking the audience. Larry uses the chaos to expose the truth, that Kraven's men switched the serum and tried to poison the bees. The henchmen, terrified, confess everything, admitting Kraven ordered it. Kraven, enraged, tries to activate his glove to command the robotic bees to attack, but it malfunctions. Meanwhile, the real bees awaken, revived and immune thanks to Rose's genuine serum. The audience erupts in applause. Rose rushes to hug Packet, crying with joy. But Kraven regains control for one last attack. The robotic bees swarm toward Rose, sending everyone fleeing in panic. She runs outside, chased by the metal swarm. Kraven stumbles, falls, and accidentally spills pollen all over himself. The bees turn on him, stinging him repeatedly. Rose reaches the pier, cornered by the robotic bees. She backs away in terror and slips into the water. The bees dive after her and explode one by one. Rose struggles, unable to swim. She's about to drown. Packet leaps into the water, pushing her upward with all his strength until Larry pulls her out safely. Exhausted, Packet loses strength and sinks beneath the surface. Back with Grace, a brilliant light surrounds him. She hugs him proudly, telling him he's proven the true meaning of courage, loyalty, and friendship. It was his final attempt. He thanks her, steps into an elevator, and disappears into the light. Sometime later, a little girl visits the pet care center. The owner hands her a tiny newborn kitten. The girl cuddles it happily. When the kitten opens one eye, we see her parents, Rose and Larry, smiling. As the kitten opens its other eye, we realize it's Packet. Rose notices the kitten's bright, familiar eyes and smiles warmly. She decides to adopt him, suggesting her daughter name the kitten Packet. The girl loves the name. As they leave, Packet looks back and sees the caretaker, it's Grace. She waves goodbye, and both she and the center fade away into light. Finally, Packet is home again, living happily with his family, having learned the true meaning of love and friendship after all his incredible adventures. The story ends. If you like it, don't forget to like, subscribe, check the backup channel for real movie summaries in the first comment, and catch the previous videos. Bye!